I was referring to this earlier. This is extremely upsetting, right? This is extremely upsetting. Trump campaign discussing plans to appoint its own state electors no matter the results, say the report. So you want to talk about the problems with the Electoral College. Here's a big one that I think most people haven't really thought about, okay, or even quite understand. So Trump campaign officials, and I kind of alluded to this last time, but the story has developed more since then. Trump campaign officials and legal advisors are reportedly preparing to appoint their own state electors as a way to secure victory in a contested election. A move would precipitate an unprecedented constitutional crisis. Absolutely. If they do this, it's going to be chaos. I mean, this is the kind of thing that literally could lead to like major issues. The country will in all likelihood not know the outcome of the presidential election on election day. It is likely, given a raft of threatening public statements from President Trump, that he will reject unfavorable results. Everything right now fits exactly with the evidence that we've seen, right? We're probably not going to know on election day. Washington State came out and said, we'll be lucky to know by the middle of November who won this. Right? It's going to take time. And we know that Trump's been setting the stage to make these kind of claims. All right. The president is not directly elected by the people. The official votes are cast by electors on behalf of the voters in their states. Those states have historically chosen their electors by popular vote. The Constitution does not mandate that, saying only that a small state shall appoint its electors in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct. In other words, the Constitution says it's up to your state to decide how you're going to pledge your votes to the electors, right? That's up to you. You're going to figure that out. Now, most states since the late 1800s do it by a popular vote. So you have your state votes. Whoever gets the most votes, you pledge your electors to that individual, except for, I think there's 2 states, Nebraska, I don't know, one of those northeastern states, those little ones up there. I don't know if it's Maine or one of those other states. I forget which one it is, but where they actually split it based on the popular vote. So you get a proportion of the electors. So like you generally don't win all of Nebraska. You might get a couple votes for one person, a couple votes for the other. But the other 48 states, it's a winner take all. Popular vote determines who gets those votes. Those people then go to the Electoral College, cast their votes, and then we pick the president. You know, we all count up to 270. To see who gets it. Well, the Constitution says you don't have to go by what the people say. That's just how we've done it for the past 200 years or whatever, 130 years or something. They could change it. You might go, yeah, but no one's going to change it. Well, we've seen things that were equally sketchy, right? Like, was it Wisconsin where the outgoing Republican governor was being replaced by a Democrat governor? So the legislature changed all the rules of how the state worked so that new governor couldn't really do much of anything. It's not that far to think that a couple swing states could be convinced to do things differently. Okay, so what they could just say was, nah, we're going to, here, I'll read it because the article does a good job. Every state has allowed its voters to make the call in every election since the late 1800s. But in 2000, the Supreme Court held in Bush v. Gore that the states can take back the power to appoint electors, which is essentially what happened in that case for the state of Florida, because at the time, they didn't really know what the votes were, right? According to a September 23rd article in The Atlantic, campaign advisors to Trump, in conjunction with Republican state leaders, are preparing to test this theory. Sources in the Republican Party at both state and national levels say the campaign is considering a plan to bypass the popular vote results and install its own electors in key battleground states where the legislatures are controlled by Republicans. So remember, the Constitution says it's up to the legislature, right? So that whole process. So in states where you have a red governor and a red legislature, if the majority of the votes go to Biden, that legislature and the governor could just say, yeah, we're changing the rules. All of our electors are going to go to Trump. And they could just do it, right? That's what Trump is basically trying to inform these states about so they can be ready to go. Republicans control both legislative bodies in the 6 closest battleground states: Arizona, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Of those 6, both Arizona and Florida have Republican governors. After the national election, the plan goes, the Trump campaign would cry foul about rampant fraud. Like, we know he's going to do this no matter what. Even when he won last time, he said that it wasn't fair. So what's he going to do this time after setting it up for 6 months to cry foul? He's going to cry foul, right? About rampant fraud and demand that the state legislatures ignore the ballot tabulations and choose their electors directly. So the legislature and the governor would get up and say, you know, we really think that Trump is right. There's been some, we think that maybe we can't trust what's going on with the votes. So we're just going to choose the electors for you. Right? We're not going to do it through the state. And I think if you saw that happen in some states, we might see some real violence. I could see things go completely sideways if that kind of thing happened. If the campaign can sustain doubt or confusion about the ballot count, legislatures will feel more and more pressure to take up the responsibility before the December 8th deadline when electors' names are sent to Congress for verification. The Atlantic reported that the Trump campaign legal advisor said this effort would be framed as protecting the will of the people. It's mind-boggling. You're going to protect the will of the people by denying them their right to vote, let a handful of people change the whole way we've done things for 130 years, and you're protecting the right to vote. I absolutely think they would do that. Do I think that there is anything Trump wouldn't do? No. If he thinks he can get away with it, he will do it. He will absolutely do it. I mean, they're reporting that they're planning on it right now. Like, this article from Salon is saying they're already putting the legal framework in place for this kind of thing to occur. So why would they not do it? I mean, you think Trump's just going to have all of a sudden he's going to go, guys, I think maybe I've made some bad choices. Let's try to be good from here on out. No, he's going to try to hold on to power, especially since he knows he's got a lot of legal problems when he leaves office. So, yeah, I don't have any doubt that if he thought he could get away with this, he would do it. The state legislatures will say, all right, we've been given this constitutional power. We don't think the results of our own state are accurate. So here's our slate of electors that we think properly reflect the results of our state, the legal advisor told the outlet. The advisor said that by extending long windows for mail-in ballots to be counted after Election Day, Democrats have exposed the tabulation process to allegations of inaccuracy and fraud. It almost happened during the 2000 Florida recount. Republican Governor Jeb Bush certified electors for his brother, George W. Bush, before the recount had been settled. So, in essence, they kind of did this in 2000, right? The vote count had not been settled yet, and Governor Jeb Bush, brother of the candidate, just decided how it was going to go anyways, right? So we kind of saw a mild version of this in 2000. We're now going to see probably an upgraded version of this. And I could see violence coming then, right? Like, if that happens, people are not going to protest. They are going to do things. They're going to be very upset. And I want to make this clear, right? I'm not condoning violence. I do not condone violence. I do not suggest that anyone else partake in violence. I'm just saying if they try to pull this off, things are going to go sideways fast. So that's the story. Probably the most upsetting story of the afternoon. That is one that definitely, I don't know. It's hard to breathe after reading that. It's I don't want to. I want to see things move in a better direction. I want to see people voting. I want to see people participating in democracy. I want to see us improving our country. And we basically see right here, this is the recipe for the downfall that people are predicting, and their lawyers are literally working on it. It's not like someone made up this hypothetical. The Trump team literally has lawyers working on this. So it's upsetting, to say the least.